Well, after a long time we didn't talk about the phenomenal mechanic that appeared in the last version, namely Superbreak. Now we will go back to discussing it for the umpteenth time. This is certainly related to the new character that will be present in version 3.8, namely the Dahlia, or who you knew previously as Constance. The most interesting thing about this character is, the Dahlia itself is rumored to be one of the supports that will make Firefly back to the meta in version 3.8. This character has a kit that I think is very cool, where she can make enemies who have not entered the weakness break status can receive super break damage. Of course, this will greatly benefit the break team, where they don't have to make enemies enter the break state to deal damage. So, will the Dahlia be one of the support that will support the Super Break team again in the upcoming meta? Without further ado, I'm hsrguide and we will jump straight into the discussion video about the Dahlia version 3.8. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here is a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and honkaistarrail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 30,000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the less than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoYo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. As always, I will give you a disclaimer first that the information from this video is still in beta and not 100% fixed, so there may be changes in the future, okay? In the first part, we will discuss her skill called Lick and Kindled Betrayal. This skill will give fire damage in blast to 3 enemies. Interestingly, when the Dahlia uses this skill, she will also create a zone that can increase the weakness break efficiency of all allies by 50%, as well as making the reduction of the toughness bar on enemies that have not yet entered the weakness broken state will be considered super break damage. Well, this is a unique thing that only the Dahlia has. With this effect, super break damage will be triggered even before the enemy enters the weakness broken state. This will make the damage output of a team like Firefly increase super drastically, because as we know, one of the biggest weaknesses of the break team itself will produce very small damage if it does not attack the enemy in weakness broken state. Keep in mind that this additional super break damage can be activated by any teammate, as long as they provide a toughness bar reduction to enemies. This will certainly make characters like Fiuk, who can provide a toughness bar reduction through her ultimate without having to adjust their weakness type. Next, we will discuss the equally cool part, namely her ultimate called Willow, Entombed Ash. This ultimate will give wield status to all enemies for 4 turns, as well as deal fire damage of 300% of the Dahlia attack to all enemies. Enemies with wield will receive an 18% defense reduction and grant the weakness type of all type dance partners to enemies. Well, I think this ultimate is very interesting. The weakness type given is very similar to the emblem weakness given by Silver Wolf, but it has the difference that only the weakness type of the dance partner can be given to the enemy. But this is not a problem, because the Dahlia herself will give dance partner to teammates who have the highest break effect or who trigger battles. So if you use Firefly in your team, then all enemies will immediately have a fire weakness without Firefly having to implant a weakness first. It's really interesting, isn't it? Well, this part is no less important, guys, namely the talent section called Who's Afraid of Constance. The Dahlia will restore 35 energy and give dance partner to herself and her teammates who trigger the battle. When there is no dance partner in the field, it will immediately give a dance partner to herself and to one teammate with the highest break effect. Once the dance partner attacks an enemy that is in weakness broken state, the toughness bar reduction will be considered 1 super break damage by 60%. Then, after the enemy is attacked by dance partner, the Dahlia will launch a follow-up attack that deals 5 attacks that each give 30% fire damage of the Dahlia's attack to random enemies. After each attack hit to an enemy with a weakness broken, the toughness bar reduction of this attack will be considered 1 super break damage by 200%. The effect of this talent is really cool, guys. Automatically, the Dahlia will assign a dance partner to herself and one teammate, which is guaranteed to be your main DPS. When a dance partner attacks an enemy with a weakness broken status, it will give you an additional super break damage, which will be very useful for increasing the damage of your DPS, as well as the damage of the Dahlia herself. Interestingly, the Dahlia can launch a follow-up attack whose damage is quite massive. Of course, this will make the Dahlia replace Runmei in the team, as she can provide buffs and damage that are quite high. Not to forget, we will also discuss her technique called The Heart Makes the Finest Stone. This technique will create a special dimension for 20 seconds that prevents enemies from attacking teammates. When entering a battle with special dimension, the Dahlia will instantly trigger the zone of her skill and convert the entire toughness bar reduction when triggering the battle into a 60% super break damage to the enemy's target. This technique will again greatly benefit characters who have techniques to attack, such as Firefly and also Rappa. Both have a technique that can instantly reduce the toughness bar of all enemies, so that the damage done when entering battle will hit all enemies. In addition, we don't need to cast a skill from the beginning of the battle, since we already get all the buffs effects from her skill. Okay, next we will move on to the trace part. For the first trace, which is called Yet Another Funeral, it will increase the teammate's break effect by 24% of the Dahlia's break effect plus 50% for 1 turn. This effect can be triggered again for up to 3 turns when the Dahlia receives a heal or shield from a teammate, but this effect cannot be triggered repeatedly in 1 turn. Well, this trace indicates that we have to use a healer or shielder in the team. The healer position itself can be filled by Linsha, who is the best healer for the break team. And if we do a little calculation, if we have a 200% break effect on the Dahlia, we can give a total of 98% break effect to all teammates. Of course, this effect will be very good because all team members from the Super Break team usually have scaling to the break effect. So this effect will not only give more damage to the main DPS, but will also make other teammates able to deal high damage. For the second trace, named Lament, Lost Soul, will recover 1 skill point when the Dahlia launches a follow-up attack. This effect can only be triggered every 2 follow-up attacks. This trace can help with the need of skill points in the team, such as Firefly Eidolon 0, which is still wasteful in using skill points every time she launches a skill. Well, the third trace called Outgrow the Old, Espouse the New, has quite a unique effect. This trace will increase speed by 30% for 2 turns for teammates who give a weakness type to enemies. If this effect is triggered by a character with a fire type, the character will also gain energy of 10% of their maximum energy, up to a maximum of 50% of their maximum energy. This effect can only be triggered once by each character in 1 turn. Again, the effect of this trace is unique, but is very limited to 1 character only. Who else if not Firefly? Because she is the only fire type character who can give an implant weakness to the enemy. Other characters that can give implant weakness do not have fire type. This makes the Dahlia only perform very well for 1 team, namely the Firefly Super Break team. Now we will talk for the next part, which is the Eidolon part. For the first Eidolon called When a Bud Readies to Bloom, this Eidolon will give her talent effect to all team members, not just dance partner. And fellow dance partner will get a 40% increase in damage multiplier. Each time a dance partner launches an attack, it will give an additional toughness bar reduction of 25% of the enemy's maximum toughness, with a minimum of 10 points and a maximum of 300 points. This effect can be triggered 1 time per enemy and reset after the enemy receives a lethal attack. Well, this Eidolon will be very good for us to take if we intend to invest more in the Dahlia. The effect of this Eidolon will allow all other team members to give extra super break damage through her talent without having to have a dance partner first. In addition, dance partner now will trigger 100% super break damage instead of 60%. Well, interestingly, this eidolon can also provide additional toughness reduction, which is very useful when we are dealing with enemies that have a thick toughness bar. For the second eidolon, named Fresh, Ethereal, and Beloved, makes enemies who have wield receive an all-type resistant reduction of 18%. Then when the enemy enters the field, it will give the enemy a wield for 3 turns. Although this eidolon has a very simple effect, it will have a high impact on the team's damage performance. Enemies who have just entered the field will receive a wield immediately, so we don't have to cast the ultimate first to give this status to the enemy. This effect will be great when you are just entering battle or used in pure fiction mode, where your enemies will constantly spawn. In addition, enemies will also receive an all-type resistant reduction, which will make the damage generated by team members even higher. Furthermore, the fourth eidolon, called Pity It's Heart Gnawed by Worms, will increase the number of attacks caused by her follow-up attack to a total of 10 times, and each attack will increase the damage received by enemies by 12% for 2 turns. This eidolon focuses on increasing the damage from her follow-up attack by up to 2 times. Also, every hit from her follow-up attack will increase the damage done to the enemies. Of course, this eidolon is nice to have. For the sixth eidolon, named And Yet Always Deathly Beautiful, can give a break effect of 150% to the Dahlia. In addition, the Dahlia will also give an advanced action to the dance partner of 15% every time the Dahlia triggers a follow-up attack. Well, even though this advanced action effect only affects the Dahlia and one teammate, keep in mind that the activation of this effect is only through a follow-up attack, which is automatically triggered. So this effect is quite good, because it will be triggered every 1 turn. In addition, the addition of this break effect will also make the damage output of the Dahlia and the buff she gives to ultimates even higher. Finally, we will talk about her signature light cone. This light cone, which is called Never Forget Her Flame, will increase the user's break effect by 60%, as well as having an effect when entering battle. It will increase the break damage caused by the user and also teammates that triggers the battle by 32%. If no teammate triggers the battle, this effect will be given to the user as well as the teammate with the highest break effect. The same effect cannot be stacked, and when the user gives a weakness to the enemy, recovers 1 skill point. This effect can only be triggered 1 time and will reset each time the user casts the ultimate. The effect of this light cone is very suitable for the Dahlia, as it can give an increase of about 1.3 times from the original damage to the user and also our main DPS permanently. In addition, this additional skill point will also make the rotation of the team more consistent and make the Dahlia a skill point generator thanks to the effects of her signature light cone and her trees. Of course, the effect of this light cone is very good and highly recommended to take, especially if you have a Firefly E0 at this time. Okay guys, maybe that's all for now. What do you think about the Dahlia? Do you plan to take her in the upcoming version? Please leave any comments down below and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are no less cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.